So this is just a quick recap about the pivoting technique. Remember, we did this tiny little example of where we tried backstitching and then we sewed in a rectangle, and you'll see there when we pivot we've got this continuous stitching that doesn't show any stops and starts. Okay, now we've created some exercise sheets for that. So here's a whole paper, A4 sheet full of rectangles, and the aim is here for you to practice doing pivoting. So you could start on any of these. And so when we described how the machine functions, you'll notice we discussed very shortly about a presser foot, and this presser foot has a line there that's quite distinct, and there's another one there. You want to not confuse the two. The one that you want to focus on is the one where your needle is going to land. So you'll see my needle's perfectly landing on exactly where that line is. Okay, so we're going to quickly just try to do an example of pivoting. So just know that if you do a lot of practicing on paper, your needles will get blunt. So if you're planning to do a really fancy project and you want a lot of accuracy, maybe just bear in mind that the needle that you use to practice on for this will eventually get very blunt. So there we go. I've now landed perfectly in the corner. Lower my foot and continue. So on this machine I have the option of doing this manually, so I can do a stitch like this by turning the handle towards me and checking where am I going to land, and I'm perfectly landing in the corner. I guess it's my lucky day. Sometimes you don't land exactly in the corner, then you have to adjust a little bit. So, and as you can see, and you probably experienced by now, it's not as easy as it looks. You have to really focus on what you're doing. And so if you continue to finish the whole sheet, you'll get to know your machine quite well. And that is how you pivot. I want to just mention one last thing. So this machine, I hold down the backstitch button when I was demonstrating, but there are some options where if you press the button and you put your foot down, you can also get machines that will keep the needle in the machine for you every time you stop and start. So if I, for instance, wanted to practice the pivoting, you'll see if I have this function engaged, it's called needle down. The needle will actually stay in the machine every time I stop and start. So if I do a row of stitches parallel to this, you'll see there the machine, every time I stop, I can keep the needle in the machine without having to use the hand wheel. And it saves a lot of time if you're doing a lot of pivoting. So if you're hunting for a machine and you don't have one yet, just know that that's an option. It's kind of like when you buying a car, you want to know about the extra fancy things so that you can know whether it's worth buying a machine that has these extra functions or not. And when you want to not use it, then you just disengage that button, and then your needle will automatically go to the maximum height again.